Top 10 most dangerous birds in the world. Number 1 stands 2.7 meters tall. With a grip strength of 240 kilograms, it is 10 times more ferocious than a lion. A single encounter could cost you your life. There are between 9,800 and 10,000 bird species globally. Most people imagine birds as gentle and fragile creatures, perhaps even a bit clumsy. The sight of them fluttering their wings usually brings a smile to our faces. However, we often overlook the fact that birds are one of the most diverse groups in the animal kingdom. Among them are species that possess incredible size and lethal power. In today's video, Earth Top 10 will take you on a journey to explore the 10 most dangerous birds on the planet. In the rainforests of Papua New Guinea, there lives a bird with a stunning appearance. Its feathers are filled with vibrant orange and black, looking like a meticulously crafted work of art. However, this bird is known as the most poisonous in the world. Merely touching its feathers or skin is enough to poison a human. The toxicity of the hooded Pitohui comes from a neurotoxin contained within its body, batrachotoxin, an extremely lethal substance rarely found in nature. The name of this toxin is derived from the poison dart frog, a highly venomous creature, because the same type of toxin is also found in certain South American poison dart frogs. What is truly surprising is that the hooded Pitohui and the poison dart frog live in completely different geographical regions. Yet, through the process of evolution, they have chosen a similar survival strategy. Research has found that this neurotoxin attacks the nervous system, leading to muscle paralysis and even cardiac arrest. Its toxicity is extreme. For a bird, possessing such a lethal weapon is exceptionally rare. It makes the hooded Pitohui one of the few poisonous birds in the natural world. Just like the poison dart frog, the batrachotoxin in the hooded Pitohui's body is not synthesized by the bird itself. Instead, it comes from its food chain. One of their primary food sources is a local species of beetle. These beetles naturally contain batrachotoxin. When the hooded Pitohui consumes these beetles, the toxin gradually accumulates in its bodily tissues. Consequently, its feathers and skin also become toxic. This borrowed poison defense strategy gives the hooded Pitohui a massive advantage against predators. It is a literal do-not-touch-me policy. The vast majority of predators avoid them, especially those who have previously tried to hunt the hooded Pitohui. They are usually deterred by the feathers, which release trace amounts of toxin that burn the mouth or affect the nervous system, ultimately forcing them to give up the hunt. The presence of this toxin not only makes the hooded Pitohui a taboo for predators, but also forces humans to remain vigilant. Although most of the toxin is transferred through touch and won't directly enter the human body, long-term contact can still impact the nervous system, especially for some local tribes. Those who have accidentally eaten a hooded Pitohui or inadvertently come into contact with their feathers have suffered severe physical discomfort, leading people to give this bird a wide berth. However, the toxicity of the hooded Pitohui also presents a scientific mystery that remains unsolved. Why, among all birds, is there almost no other species that chooses such a poisonous strategy? One possible explanation is that in the hooded Pitohui's environment, predatory pressure is exceptionally high, and evolving toxicity is a unique way of adaptation. Regarding this explanation, what do you think? Sitting there behind the screen. On the lakes of Canada and the northern United States, you might spot an animal with a black back and white belly gliding through the water. Many might mistake them for a few simple ducks, but in fact, this is a bird known as the common loon. As the name suggests, the common loon is quite substantial in size. They are about 66 to 91 centimeters long, with a wingspan reaching 127 to 147 centimeters. Their weight usually ranges between 2.2 and 7.6 kilograms compared to other divers. Their build is remarkably robust, especially the feathers on their chest and shoulders, which are dense and stiff. This physique does not just help them withstand freezing water temperatures, it also makes them more agile underwater. To hunt, they frequently dive into the depths, swimming up to 60 meters below the surface for an impressive duration of up to 2 minutes. The common loon's size, diving ability, endurance, and strength form the foundation of their status as an apex predator, making them nearly unstoppable to their prey. When hunting small fish, frogs, and crustaceans, these birds use their beaks to swiftly pierce the prey's vital organs, ending a life in an instant. The common loon's beak is long and sharp, possessing a level of keenness sufficient to puncture a prey's hard shell. Beyond hunting, this beak also displays extreme aggression when defending their territory. It can even inflict fatal injuries on other birds or invading waterfowl. Field observers have reported that when a loon attacks other water birds, its beak can penetrate straight through feathers and skin, causing serious injury or even death. This offensive capability gives the common loon, among waterfowls, a lethal sense of deterrence. Every spring and summer, during the common loon's breeding season, is also the period when they are most aggressive in protecting their offspring. After the female lays 2 large eggs, both parents take turns guarding the nest. They do not just watch for natural predators, but also resist any other potential threats, including humans, especially those who ignore the warnings, photographers, tourists who get too close to the nest, or even boaters. In these situations, the common loon takes action without hesitation to protect its family and territory. When people mention swans, images of pure white elegance usually come to mind. Especially in Western culture, the swan is the ultimate symbol of grace and purity. Just think of the Swan Princess in the ballet Swan Lake. However, despite their gentle appearance, the mute swan, a bird widely distributed across the northern hemisphere, actually possesses powerful aggression and dangerous instincts. The mute swan is one of the largest and most aggressive waterfowl. An adult mute swan's body length is about 140 to 160 centimeters, with a wingspan reaching 200 to 240 centimeters. They usually weigh between 9 and 12 kilograms, and males can grow even larger. The name mute swan suggests a sense of silence compared to other swans. Their calls are indeed not very loud. However, they are far from being truly silent, especially when facing a threat or during the breeding season. These swans will emit a low hissing sound as a warning signal. They might even flap their wings and strike an aggressive pose. Their broad wingspan and robust physique, combined with powerful muscles, make the mute swan exceptionally intimidating when confronted. Particularly during the breeding season, male mute swans exhibit extraordinary aggressive instincts to protect their mates and nests. They will even drive away animals much larger than themselves, including humans. Some eyewitness reports show that mute swans will use violent collisions and pecking to attack intruders. In particular, their hard beaks and powerful wings can cause significant injury to humans. According to reports, the strike force of an adult male mute swan is quite formidable. Enough to capsize a canoe or small boat, they can sometimes even cause serious injuries like bone fractures. In recent years, there have been many incidents worldwide of mute swans attacking humans, even leading to drowning cases due to capsized boats. The culprits are these seemingly gentle white birds. Specifically, after their introduction to North America, mute swan populations expanded rapidly, becoming an invasive species. They are highly adaptable, thriving and breeding in almost any temperate body of water, and the lack of natural enemies to limit them. This rapid growth in mute swan numbers not only threatens local native birds, but also has long-term negative impacts on aquatic ecosystems due to their feeding habits. These swans uproot underwater plants, causing destructive foraging in lakes and ponds. This destruction does not just reduce the coverage of aquatic vegetation, it also leads to water turbidity and increases the risk of eutrophication. While the Harpy Eagle is not the world's largest eagle, it is arguably the most powerful one, earning it the reputation of being a winged lion. The Harpy Eagle belongs to the Accipitridae family and is one of the most powerful and iconic birds of prey in the world. They are distributed throughout the tropical rainforests of Central and South America, particularly in the dense jungles of countries like Brazil, Panama, and Colombia. Unlike many smaller birds of prey, the Harpy Eagle possesses a truly formidable physique. An adult Harpy Eagle's wingspan can reach up to 2 meters, with a body length of approximately 86 to 107 centimeters and a weight ranging from 4.4 to 8.3 kilograms. Despite this, its most menacing feature is not its massive wingspan, but rather that pair of powerful talons. A Harpy Eagle's claws are about 13 centimeters long, comparable to the claws of a bear, making them one of the most lethal weapons among raptors. armed with these talons. The Harpy Eagle can snatch and firmly grip prey that is nearly the same size as its own body, making it an almost invincible hunter. The Harpy Eagle primarily operates in the forest canopy, relying on its razor-sharp vision to spot prey moving on the ground or in the trees, such as sloths, monkeys, opossums, and porcupines, and even some medium-sized birds. Thanks to its powerful flight capabilities and silent flying techniques, the Harpy Eagle can close in on its prey without making a single sound. Research has found that when diving, a Harpy Eagle's speed can exceed 80 kilometers per hour. This velocity allows them to take their prey completely by surprise, catch them off guard. Furthermore, their strike rate is incredibly high. Their precision when approaching prey ensures they rarely miss a target. The sheer power of the Harpy Eagle has commanded respect and awe from humans for generations. Many indigenous people view them as mystical creatures, even believing they possess sacred powers. In some legends, the Harpy Eagle is considered the guardian spirit of the forest. When humans encroach upon the rainforest, the Harpy Eagle is said to manifest its wrath to protect its habitat. However, this powerful and mysterious creature now faces a severe threat to its survival. With the intensification of human activity, the Harpy Eagle's habitat is gradually shrinking. Deforestation in the rainforests and agricultural expansion both seriously threaten their living environment, causing their range to steadily decline. As a result, many Harpy Eagles are forced to migrate to even more remote areas where in these new territories, it is difficult for them to find sufficient prey. In recent years, attacks by herring gulls on humans have become increasingly common, especially in coastal cities and near popular tourist attractions. Data shows that in some coastal areas of the UK and North America, the herring gull population has reached the hundreds of thousands. In certain cities, their numbers have even doubled or more in just a few years. This population boom not only leads them to forage by the sea, but also encourages them to boldly enter urban areas. They forage on streets, in parks, and even within residential zones. Many residents have reported that their food, trash, and even their pets have been targeted by herring gulls. Statistics indicate that every year there are approximately several hundred incidents. Incidents of herring gulls attacking humans have been widely recorded. Some of these encounters have even resulted in injuries to the victims. Particularly during the summer breeding season, the aggression of the herring gull reaches its absolute peak. You should know that an adult herring gull can have a wingspan of up to 1.5 meters, weighing approximately 1 kilogram compared to other seabirds. They appear much more robust and powerful. A herring gull's beak is sharp and exceptionally hard. When they strike, they can inflict significant damage, especially when diving at speeds exceeding 50 kilometers per hour. The herring gull's aggressive nature is closely tied to its famous appetite. Herring gulls are omnivorous birds, capable of consuming a vast variety of food, including fish, insects, small mammals, and even human food scraps. In areas with human activity, they not only treat trash as a food source, but have also become bolder due to being fed by people. Many studies indicate that herring gulls become unusually fierce when food is scarce, even attacking animals much larger than themselves, including humans. Some witnesses have described how herring gulls in parks, beaches, and on the streets dive bomb tourists to snatch food right out of their hands. In cases where they fail to grab the food, they may even use their beaks to viciously peck at human arms and heads. Furthermore, the intelligence of the herring gull and its memory are quite remarkable. They can remember food sources and specific locations, and can even identify individuals who are carrying food. Consequently, some people who have been attacked before find themselves targeted again by the same herring gull when returning to the same area. This clever memory allows herring gulls to thrive and spread rapidly in regions with frequent human activity. Have you ever seen a bird capable of taking on an entire army? That would be the emu. The emu is the second largest bird after the ostrich, averaging 1.5 to 1.9 meters in height, and can weigh up to 60 kilograms. These stats alone are enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. They are flightless birds, relying entirely on their powerful legs for mobility. The kicking force of an adult emu's single leg can reach 500 newtons, enough to snap a thick wooden board in an instant. An emu's talons are razor sharp, especially the claw on the middle toe, which can reach 10 centimeters in length. Acting like a natural dagger, there have been numerous recorded cases of emus injuring people, including many instances of severe injury. These birds not only possess incredible explosive power, but their attack speed is so fast that it is difficult for humans to react once they feel threatened or provoked. They will strike back without hesitation. For a human trapped in a confined space, an attack from this bird can easily be fatal. It can even leave one feeling the same terror as facing a wild beast. The emu's speed is also astonishing. They can run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour and are capable of maintaining that pace for a long time. On the Australian savannas, the emu can quickly outrun predators, which is why they have almost no natural enemies in the ecosystem. Even for a powerful predator like a lion, trying to hunt an emu might ultimately result in giving up due to sheer exhaustion. Back in the 1930s, in Western Australia, a bizarre conflict known as the Emu War broke out. At that time, massive flocks of emus migrated into farmland to find food, devouring crops along the way. This caused devastating losses to local agriculture. Desperate, the farmers petitioned the government to deploy the military to deal with this feathered invasion. As a result, the government sent in soldiers armed with machine guns to launch an all-out crackdown on the emus. However, the emus displayed shocking resourcefulness and adaptability. They split into small groups, employing what can only be described as guerrilla tactics. They even maneuvered effortlessly under heavy fire, successfully dodging multiple military strikes. In the end, the army failed to control the emu population. Instead, they wasted a massive amount of ammunition and manpower. Generally speaking, though, while emus are not afraid of humans, they do not typically go out of their way to attack us unless we start the fight by provoking them or trespassing onto their turf. Now, the emu's sense of territory is incredibly strong, especially during the breeding season. Male emus will exhibit extremely aggressive defensive behaviors to protect their nests and unhatched eggs. Magpies are often seen as symbols of good luck, auspiciousness, and joy. Their cheerful songs and elegant appearance usually make people feel quite pleasant. However, what you might not know is that every spring, the Australian magpie enters a highly aggressive, defensive mode. They will actively attack pedestrians and cyclists who get too close to their nests. In Australia, this phenomenon is famously known as swooping season. According to reports, the number of people injured by magpie attacks in Australia reaches into the thousands every single year. And the situation is worsening annually. This makes the bird a hidden danger that simply cannot be ignored in daily life. In Australia, magpies are widely distributed across almost every state and territory. These birds feature black and white plumage and a loud, resonant call. And Australian magpie measures about 37 to 43 centimeters in length, with a wingspan reaching up to 65 centimeters and weighs between 220 and 350 grams. Between August and October each year, the magpie will protect its nest and chicks by launching strikes against any human or animal that enters its territory. Their method of attack usually involves a sudden dive bomb from behind, using their beaks to peck or sharp claws to scratch the target. They can reach speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour and often aim with pinpoint precision at the victim's eyes, face, and head. Because these attacks are so fast and sudden, many people are struck before they even have time to react, falling victim to the assault and suffering injuries as a result. Data from the Australian Magpie Alert website shows that in 2023 alone, over 3,000 magpie attack incidents were recorded. About 14% of those people resulted in injuries from these encounters. Fortunately, most of these attacks are not fatal. However, since their attacks are mostly concentrated on the face, targeting sensitive areas like the eyes, they can still cause the victims severe physical injury and psychological trauma. In a few extreme cases, magpie attacks have even led to fatal consequences. For instance, in September 2019, an Australian cyclist crashed onto the ground due to a magpie swoop. Tragically, he succumbed to his severe injuries. What is even stranger is that Australian magpies primarily target men, especially those wearing hats or riding bicycles. This specific target preference may be related to the magpie's impressive memory. They have a strong sense of territory and can remember humans who pose a threat to them. According to research, magpies can recognize up to 100 different human faces. They can memorize human facial features, allowing them to carry out targeted attacks against individuals who have offended them in the past. This high IQ memory and recognition capability make magpie attacks far more personal. This is especially true for those who, in their eyes, appear unfriendly. Despite this, the attitude of Australians toward magpies is not entirely negative. By preying on insects and small animals, They help control pest populations and maintain ecological balance. That is exactly why many Australians hold complex feelings toward them. On one hand, they fear their aggressive behavior, but on the other, they appreciate their existence. Deep within the vast African forests lives a secretive raptor known as the aerial hunter. It is not the lions people know well, roaming the African savanna, nor the cunning hyenas. Instead, it is the silent, high-altitude killing master, the crowned eagle. The crowned eagle is massive. Females have a wingspan of about 180 centimeters, while males are around 160 centimeters. They typically weigh between 2.5 and 4.7 kilograms. Their talons are exceptionally sharp, boasting powerful claws over 7 centimeters long. These talons play a lethal role during the hunt. The leg strength of a crowned eagle is immense, sufficient to deliver a fatal blow and snap the bones of its prey. And its diet actually includes various small primates, young antelopes, and even wild cats or mongooses. This elite hunting prowess gives the crowned eagle an absolute advantage in the food chain, earning it the title of the king of the jungle with wings. The crowned eagle's hunting method is incredibly efficient. They are accustomed to monitoring prey from high perches. Once they lock onto a target with keen eyesight, they suddenly spread their wings and dive down instantly. Their descent speed can reach 80 kilometers per hour, comparable to an arrow falling from the sky. Leaving the prey with almost zero chance of escape, powerful talons grip the target, piercing deep into the body. The prey is subdued before it even senses the danger. The potential threat of the crowned eagle to humans cannot be ignored either. Over the years, in some parts of Africa, reports have surfaced indicating that the crowned eagle has attempted to prey on human toddlers. While such instances are incredibly rare, the possibility remains a chilling reality. In certain African villages, residents have stepped up surveillance in areas where children play to ward off potential attacks by these raptors. These apex predators show absolutely zero fear when facing humans within their own territory. They remain unchallenged masters of the sky. Clad in sleek black plumage, this bird's feathers are predominantly dark, contrasted by vivid blue or red bare skin on its neck and throat. Crowned with a bony casque on its head, it looks strangely beautiful yet imposing. It is widely known as the murder bird. But what exactly earned it such a terrifying reputation? In the avian world, the cassowary is a true heavyweight champion, standing at an impressive 1.5 to 1.8 meters tall. It tips the scales between 50 and 70 kilograms, though it lacks the power of flight. The cassowary possesses incredibly powerful lower limbs, specifically its feet. Each foot features 3 massive toes, with the inner toe being exceptionally formidable, measuring up to 12 centimeters in length. It is shaped like a razor-sharp dagger. This lethal claw makes the cassowary a massive threat. When it goes on the defensive or offensive, it can even inflict fatal injuries upon any potential threat. The cassowary calls the tropical rainforests of Australia and Papua New Guinea its home. It is typically a solitary creature, foraging and nesting in the dense woods. These birds are opportunistic omnivores, primarily feeding on fruits, seeds, insects, and small vertebrates. When searching for food, the cassowary retreats deep into the thickest parts of the forest, rarely crossing paths with humans. However, due to the loss of their natural habitat and the expansion of human activity, the cassowary's living space is being increasingly encroached upon. This has unfortunately led to a higher frequency of human-wildlife conflict, while encounters are usually accidental. If they feel threatened or their territory is violated, they will instantly switch to a defensive stance and may even launch an attack on the intruder. These assaults are characterized by swift sprinting and powerful leaps. Reaching speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour, they are nearly impossible to dodge. Once the cassowary closes in on its target, it typically uses its long dagger-like claws to deliver a devastating kick. The force of such a kick is immense, capable of knocking down an adult or even being fatal. History has recorded multiple incidents of human casualties resulting from cassowary attacks. One of the most famous cases occurred in 1926. When an Australian teenager was attempting to drive away a cassowary. He was unfortunately struck in the throat by its kick and ultimately succumbed to his injuries. The breeding season for the cassowary runs from June to October each year. During this time, the female will lay 3 to 5 large, vivid green eggs. These eggs are incubated and raised exclusively by the male. During this period, the male cassowary is hypersensitive about nest protection and is highly prone to aggressive behavior toward any intruder. Therefore, when you are moving through the rainforest, if you encounter a cassowary, especially one with its chicks, you must keep your distance to avoid provoking them. People often easily imagine the ostrich as a clumsy dinosaur-like bird, especially because they are flightless, look somewhat awkward in their gait, and possess large, gentle eyes, along with thick, fluffy feathers. However, the true face of this bird is extremely menacing. It is not only the largest bird in the world, but also a potential killer with danger beyond your imagination. The ostrich can reach a height of up to 3 meters, and its weight can exceed 150 kilograms. The ostrich has highly developed leg muscles, enabling it to run at 70 kilometers per hour. It can accelerate to top speed in a very short time, a pace that almost rivals a galloping horse. For a human being, escape is practically impossible. The ostrich's legs are not just for running. They are also its most powerful weapon. When facing a threat, it will use its powerful legs to deliver a ferocious kick. With enough force to send a lion or a wild dog flying, scientists have calculated that an ostrich's kick can reach approximately 2,000 newtons. Furthermore, their anatomy is unique. They only have 2 toes. One of them is particularly thick and large, equipped with a sharp nail that is almost as lethal as a dagger. The claw force can reach 480 kilograms, sufficient to shatter bones. Not only that, the ostrich's intelligence also far exceeds that of average birds. They can adopt different strategies based on the type of threat they face. For instance, when facing large carnivores, the ostrich will first choose to flee at high speed. But when there is nowhere left to run, it will stop its tracks and choose to confront the threat head-on. The ostrich's incredible stamina has also made it a perennial champion on the African savanna. Unlike many other animals, ostriches have the ability to run for long durations. This allows them to easily patrol grazing areas, even under the scorching high temperatures, maintaining peak physical condition. While ostriches are usually gentle herbivores, when faced with a threat, they can quickly transform into formidable attackers. Many tourists or photographers have accidentally entered an ostrich's territory, leading to unfortunate accidents. Data shows that injuries caused by ostrich attacks each year, and even fatal accidents, are not uncommon, especially in regions like South Africa, where they are highly concentrated. There are even records of ostriches killing lions. Alright, that is everything for today's video. Among the top 10 most dangerous birds we have introduced today, which one impressed you the most? Feel free to let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.